Hey, yo, what's up, man? It's your boy Hip Hop Gamer, the one and only. Check this out. $399 Xbox One. The news came out. Good move for Microsoft, you know what I'm saying? And I know this is going to be a big boost for them. I truly believe that it will be a big boost for them. But at the same time, there is competition. And now let's talk about the $399 Xbox versus the $399 PS4. Everybody's talking about it, and that's great. But I'm going to give you guys my factual breakdown on why, even though this is a good move for Microsoft in their business, in reality, it's still not enough for the blueprint that Sony has laid, not just for this generation, but this goes back all the way to 1994 when PlayStation first came out. They had a vision, and everything that you see them doing now stems from that vision back in 94. You feel me? Let's get it started. Alright, check this out. So, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about, and there's two main points. And within these points, there's a lot of sub points. You know what I'm saying? But the two main points I want to talk about, the first one is the message. The second point is the value. Alright? Now, the first thing is this, the message. Now, the message that Microsoft sent since the beginning, since day one, was all in one box. You can do all these things. You need Connect. It's mandatory. It don't work without it. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that if that's your vision and that's what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But it becomes a problem when you don't stick to your own vision and you get blinded. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times people get blinded from past successes. And you can't always do the same things over and over again when you move into a new generation. And because your last generation was so successful, you can't assume that you can just do whatever the hell you want to do and expect it to fly with consumers out here. It don't work that way. So, let's revisit this. Now, since E3 2013, from that day forth, a lot has changed with that message. You see what I'm saying? That Microsoft had. Now let's go down the entire spectrum. And this is why this is a factual breakdown. You know what I'm saying? So first things first. The DRM reversal. That was the first thing. You know what I'm saying? And with the DRM reversal, that was a great thing. You know what I'm saying? It was a great that they decided to change the DRM, turn that off, and now you could do the use game thing and let your homeboy borrow a game and don't have to worry about the 24-hour check-in and all this other stuff that they initially had in place. But within all the positives of them changing that and doing these things to give a new look to Microsoft as a brand, you know, Xbox as a system, it comes with a strong negative push. And a negative push in terms of being competitive is that when they reversed DRM, all they did was follow Sony.
For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers. Guess that's a good thing. We believe in the model that people embrace today with PlayStation 3 and continue to demand. Just heard you there. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. Or for any type of authentication. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically.
You see what I'm saying? Like, Sony never had those particular things in place. Microsoft did. So Microsoft changed to mimic their competitor. Now, please pay attention, because this video is going to be the realest shit you see online in terms of factual breakdown. Alright? Now, that was the first step, the DRM reversal. Once they changed that, it made Microsoft Xbox look more like Sony PlayStation 4. Which is not a bad thing for consumers, but when you're trying to give a message and stand out and be who you are, it causes problems. Let's move on. Now, you have Xbox One games with gold. Now, you can get free games every month. That's great. We love that. Thank you, Microsoft. At the same time, for every positive, when it comes to being competitive, there's a slight negative. And what that means is that games with gold being something new and great for Microsoft, that's cool. But your competitor been doing that.
Let's get started with your free PS4 game. Stick It to the Man is a point-and-click adventure game with a dash of platforming and a slick, animation-inspired art style. Ray is the main protagonist here, and he's got a bit of a unique problem. There's a pink arm sticking out of his head. Although really weird, it's not all that bad. This freaky arm allows Ray to read other people's thoughts and grab stickers from their minds to solve puzzles.
So once again, another decision that Microsoft has made just makes them look more like the PlayStation 4. And not only do PlayStation 4 give you free games, they give you a lot of free games on a regular basis since day one with the PS4. That's just factual breakdown. Okay? That's the second thing. Let's move on. Now, removal of the paywall with the apps on the Xbox One. Phenomenal, Microsoft. That's what I'm talking about. Remove that bullshit. That's great. But, once again, the fact that they took that step, which is a great step, is also another step of them looking exactly like the PlayStation 4. Because the PlayStation 4 never had that paywall. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is becoming a pattern. And when you see a pattern like that, even though it's a plus for the Microsoft brand, it's also going to show how Sony's initial blueprint is not just a blueprint that's good for Sony, but it's the blueprint for our game industry. And that's what makes them the leader. But dog, I'm not done. There's more. Let's move on. Removal of the Kinect. Now, this part right here is really scary because Microsoft stood by Kinect like a girl stand by her man back in the day, or like a man should stand by his wife, you know, or like how a Christian stand by the religion of Christianity or something like that. Like, Kinect was the whole idea of Xbox One all-in-one and Xbox on, Xbox off, Xbox go to Netflix, all these things, all of that is a reflection of what made them different. Is a reflection of what's supposed to make them stick out. Kinect has become the face and the brand of what Microsoft represents to make Xbox Xbox. You see what I'm saying? So for you to remove that and create that and make that become an add-on, make it optional, you just went against everything that your brand stood for. The developers and the development time that's going into a lot of these Kinect games and all this other stuff. Now it's optional. The fact that you had to remove it shows that Microsoft doesn't even fully believe in the Kinect. And if you don't fully believe in the Kinect, and it's your product, then what makes you think consumers is going to support it now? And what makes you think developers are going to truly want to make games for it and spend their time and money? Now, I know a lot of people may be like, it don't mean that they don't believe in it. No, dog. It means anytime when you have priorities in business, right? There's certain things that you just can't do without. Period. There's certain things that you could cut. There's certain things that you could get rid of. But there's certain things you absolutely cannot touch. There's certain things in your business that's considered red flags that you cannot remove. You see what I'm saying? To give you a great analogy, right? If you look at the Miami Heat basketball team, right? And let's say the coach have to cut somebody. He's not cutting LeBron James. See what I'm saying? LeBron James will never get cut. That's it. If you look at Oklahoma City Thunder, OKC, and the coach had to make a decision on who to get rid of, Kevin Durant will never even be a thought, a mention of being cut. You see what I'm saying? Their value is so high that they won't even get mentioned. So when you look at Microsoft Xbox One, and you look at the Kinect and what that Kinect represented, that was supposed to be the difference maker. This is what it is. So you take something that's mandatory, and the way Microsoft preached about it, the way they said that the system won't work without Kinect, like it was that powerful. And not even a year later, it's optional. So the value and the worth and the importance of Kinect that once was is not anymore. And that's a sign of showing that Microsoft doesn't mean that they don't fully believe that people would still want it or support it, but it's not as important to them anymore. It's expendable to them. Meaning that Microsoft feels that not everybody, it's not worth for everyone to have it. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at that decision in comparison to what they was preaching in the beginning, you know, that right there is big time. But you also know what that means? PlayStation 4. It didn't come with the camera. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation 4, $399 without that camera. Xbox One, they didn't make it $399 and still kept the Kinect there or found something else to get rid of. No. They got rid of that Kinect to make it $399. And guess what that does? That makes Microsoft look more like the PlayStation 4.
And will continue to offer the best value on the market. I'm very proud to announce that PlayStation 4 will be available at $399.
You see what I'm saying? Let's move on. Now, the message, right, with Microsoft, not only is it, you know, games, but the indie support, the independent developer support. Now, so many developers was talking about how Xbox, their program isn't where it need to be. It's not as good. It's not as fluid. With Sony, it's like, you know, you just push a button, everything is good. They work with us more. You know what I'm saying? So Sony literally have 1,000+ developers from the indie scene making games for them. Good games, like games that'll make you like, yo, this, like, I'm going to be playing this for a while. Like, you know, a lot of these indie games are starting to be able to match up with these AAA games. And I don't mean by in terms of graphic quality or these other things. I'm talking about just fun experiences. Now, when you look at Sony on the E3 stage showing mad love to indies and all this other stuff and this big push, what do you see with Microsoft? You got the ID box and we got all this other stuff now. Games. This is all the stuff that they're preaching now. But who do they sound like? everything is starting to look more towards like the PlayStation 4. So my thing is this. For the first part of this video, it was all about the message. And the message that Microsoft gave in the beginning, as opposed to the message that they're giving now, is the same message that PlayStation gave since day one, February 20th, 2013.
To create the game experiences to game creation. Nothing would come between the the platform, and the joy of play. Gaming fluidly connect the player to a larger world of experiences, and we wanted to hear from developers. A platform by game creators, for game creators. Gaming itself.
Same message. Now, I know there's a lot of fanboys out there and all this other stuff, and look, I know you have your preferences. I got PlayStation is my preference, you know what I'm saying? But you know me, I got everything, I play it all and stuff like that. And you know, I just keep it real, man. I love it all. I love everything. But I'm gonna tell you something, seriously. Anybody that's a Xbox only person, they don't want to play PlayStation, they don't want to play Nintendo, they won't play nothing. They just only want to play Xbox. If you only want to play Xbox and that's your system of choice, notice that the company, the brains behind your system of choice, is following in the footsteps of something you say you don't want to play. How ironic is that? I think this right here is great. I think this is a good opportunity to bring more gamers together and encourage people to get everything instead of just one system. If you can afford them all, get them all. Trust me, you're going to be missing out if you don't have them all. Bottom line. So, I said all that to say is Microsoft's message sounds exactly like Sony's message. And you can't say you're the best. You can't say you have the best games. You can't say you have the best anything when your entire message has changed from what was your message. And now your initial message sounds like an echo of what Sony has been saying, showing, and doing. That's the first part. But you know what? I got more. So let's move on. Now, let's talk about value. Now, when you look at value, you have $399 versus $399. So off the bat, you like, oh, they're the same price. So since they're the same price, where's the X factor? You know what I'm saying? What's the X factor on what's going to make me get the Xbox One over PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 4 over Xbox One? They're the same price. So it has to be something else that you're looking at right now to make you make that decision if you can't buy both. So if you can only get one, what's the deciding factor? You know what I'm saying? Connect is not bundled in. So that's not the deciding factor. So what is it? Is it the games? It always comes down to the games. And we're going to talk about that right now. When it comes to the games, it's all about game performance. So, if you're looking at game performance, right, of course you're going to have your exclusives, obviously. But in order to survive in this business, you need third party to carry you over to your next exclusive. You see what I'm saying? For example, February, Infamous came out. You know what I'm saying? Then March, April, May, the show come out. So that's a few months without having an exclusive. And now, don't get me wrong, you know, you got indie exclusives, you know what I'm saying? You got the Octodads and you know, you got other stuff here and there. But in terms of like the main exclusives that a lot of people was looking for, it was a couple of months before you reached MLB from Infamous Second Son. Within that gap, you need a lot of third party to help you and, you know, support that time period. You see what I'm saying? You got to think about it like that. So the point I'm trying to make is when you look at game performance and when it comes to multi-platform titles, who's winning? Exactly. PlayStation 4 is winning. And not only winning by a little bit, they're winning by a lot consistently. But the problem with that is even when you look at exclusives like the Titanfall that came out, even Titanfall exclusively still couldn't match the performance expected from a next generation system in terms of 1080p 60 frames per second or at least 1080p and a solid 30 frames, something. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make is this. Third party is needed. It's very important for the success of your system. It carries it out. You see what I'm saying? Watch Dogs, 900p. PlayStation 4. Even though it's not 1080 and we wish we had that, it's still higher than the Xbox One. You get more exclusive stuff on the PlayStation 4. Game performance goes in the favor of Sony. There's your X factor. There's your deal breaker. But you know what? There's more. Now, let's talk online. Now, when you talk online, right? Xbox Live, amazing. But this isn't 360 versus PS3. You see what I'm saying? So the advantage that Xbox Live once had in the 360 PS3 era, that's gone. Because PSN, simple, great features, fast, it works. Same thing with Xbox Live. It works. So now there's no, my online don't work, or I can't get into a party chat with place. All that stuff is done. So roughly the same features you'll get with Xbox Live is the same features you'll get for PSN. But PSN is what? It's cheaper, and you get more because you get more free games. You get better discounts. Like I said, it's cheaper in price. You know what I'm saying? It's an overall great deal. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at that, that plays a big role because it's all about value. And the better value you have, the better you're treating the consumer. You see what I'm saying? Crazy. And let's move on. Now, developer support. I don't even got to go into that shit. Sony got the most exclusives, most exclusive studios and stuff like that, most developer support in the indie scene. And not only do they got all of that developer support and just more power, their system is more powerful. It's been proven. And in terms of developer support, when a developer tells you that this system is better than this system, it's easier to work with this system, and the developers are the reason why these systems are able to captivate us as an audience because they make the games. That's another deal breaker right there. So yes, $399, but when you mention all of these other things that play a role in a purchase, it all leans in the favor of PlayStation 4. And why I say that the $399 Xbox One is not enough is for these exact reasons. And guess what else, dog? It's more. So you know how it is, man. It's your boy about gaming. Get it popping, man. I-97. You already know. Now, let's talk about this. PlayStation Now. PlayStation Morpheus. PlayStation Vita. Now, I know y'all like, all right, come on, hip-hop, you reaching, man. We talk about PlayStation 4 only. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now, PlayStation Now is going to be on PlayStation 4. And backwards capabilities will be here. Backwards compatibility exists on the PlayStation 4. It don't exist on the Xbox One. Bottom line. Bottom line. So the PlayStation Now is giving you what you want right now. PlayStation, think about it. You got a Netflix for games, dog. In the discussion, son. Then you got PlayStation Vita. Now, I know a lot of people like, oh, PlayStation Vita, don't even mention that. It's not even selling like it would. True. You're right. It's not selling like they wanted to sell. But it's still selling good enough for it to be a standalone product for a niche market that love those handhelds and that love the PS Vita. And I love my PS Vita. But here's the thing. See, when you have PlayStation Now, and you can take all those games and play them on the Vita, no matter where you at, that makes the Vita a lot more attractive. That's the first thing. Second thing is this. From the second screen gameplay, from the remote play where you can play Infamous Second Son on your PS Vita, all of these things, it fits into the ecosystem of what the PlayStation is able to do. And that creates more value right there. Now, yeah, if you wanted to get a PS Vita, it's obviously going to cost more for you to buy. But people don't mind spending money when they can see the value and the value makes sense to them. And PlayStation Vita is something that makes sense to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It really does. And you'll see more of that as the years go on. Also, PlayStation Morpheus. Now, people that got a chance to get their hands on it said they loved it. And that's great. We still have to wait and see how VR is going to play a role. But the thing is, when you think about PlayStation Morpheus and how it relates to the PlayStation world and the value in virtual reality, you see what I'm saying? It's still something that Sony has that Microsoft don't right now, or at least didn't announce yet. You see what I'm saying? So you got to factor in all of these things when you look at value, because when you buy a product, you're investing in it. So when you invest in the product, there's so much that you want out of that product that needs to be there to make you spend more and spend more and spend more and enjoy what you're spending. You don't want to feel like you're getting shortchanged. You see what I'm saying? That's what Sony does. That's what they're bringing you. And let's move on. Now, to wrap up the value, when it comes to the controller, PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One, both good controllers, but in my opinion, one is greater. In a lot of people's opinions, one is greater. And that's the PlayStation 4. It has more comfort, triggers is great, touchpad, speaker in the speaker coming out of it, share button. Share button is another X factor. Push that button, put your stuff out there, simple. You know what I'm saying? The interface, smooth, easy to see, go to where you want to go to, boom. You know what I'm saying? The camera, Sony don't even promote the camera heavy or real like how Kinect was promoted. Yeah, everybody wants the PlayStation 4 camera. It don't really care too much for the Kinect. Why is that? It's the way it was used. Why? You got the playroom. People creating their own shows using the PlayStation 4 live. You know what I'm saying? There's a great community being built simply because the camera is there. The share factory, that right there is insane. Then the fact that your video games is always being recorded. You don't have to tell the machine to record. It's always recording on its own. Everything is easy. It's more fluid. All through just one button on your controller. Listen, y'all. The $399 Xbox One is a good move. Great move. I advise everybody to go get it. But in reality, when it comes to this battle, it's not enough to go head on against Sony PS4 right now. PlayStation has the blueprint of success in the game industry. And they had it ever since '94. Now, I know a lot of y'all going to be like, oh, well, they lost when they came with the PS3. No, they didn't. They did not lose at all. The PS3 is still on the market. Xbox 360 is still on the market. They still being sold. They still selling. And PS3 is at 81 million and 360 is at 80 million. And don't give me that price difference in terms of $399. Don't give me that price difference saying that, oh, well, the only reason why such and such did this because Xbox One costs more. Hell no, because PlayStation 3 was always a higher price than the 360, and they still managed through their exclusive development power to show why you needed a PS3, even though the 360 was an easier system to develop for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta look at it. Don't just look at America. I'm talking globally. All right? So the bottom line is this. The message is very important, and the value is very important. And when you bring it together, you have to get value out of the message. And if your message is basically doing the same things and following the footsteps of your direct competitor, then what does that say about the value of your system? It's going to be in the favor of your actual competitor. So this right here from Microsoft, $399, removing the Kinect, it sounds good because it's cheaper, but it's also a gift and a curse. Because at the end of the day, your message and your value must be on point. It must stand the test of time. You must be able to show why your message is powerful and why the value is there. And if you can't show that, you do not, I repeat, you do not confer to what your competitor has already done. What you do is be creative and do something completely different to make everybody pay attention to you instead of looking at you like you're just another them. It's your boy Hip Hop Gamer, the one and only. You know what I'm saying? Hot 97 every day. That's my word, man. Keep it gangster, #1, baby. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit me back, comment, subscribe. Let's grow, baby. Peace.